I had never used balanced power of that level, but I never thought that power would actually make me say, what the heck happened right here now? Once the Equi Tech came in, I only put in a virtual instrument and I hit the pedal of the piano and I just felt the pedal like in front of me. And I have a baby gun in the house, and when I press that pedal and I just feel it like it's a real thing. That was like mind-blowing what balanced power does to these equipment. It was like opening a curtain all of a sudden. I've been using these virtual instruments for many years because on a daily basis what I do as a film composer, you get the script or you get the cuts or you get the dailies or meeting the deadline. You cannot afford to have everything else causing problems. You gotta accomplish that setup that will result in that sound that you're looking for. And then you get this power that changes the whole perspective of the sound and really inspires you to play. My name is Aldo Shllaku. I'm a film composer. We are in my studio in Los Angeles. I was born in Albania, moved to Greece, did all my studies for composition in Montreal, Canada, and came here to do my grad school at USC, and that was about 20 years ago. First project actually I did here was a little kids TV pilot. It was called Sunnytown. I had to write 12 songs. And then I got a gig with another company called Sinatel and did a few films for them. Right after that, I got hired from one of my teachers at USC, Christopher Young. I was his assistant for about 4 years. And after that, I said, well, let me try my luck on my own. And here we are. To get to the project, it's personal connections most of the time. And the way it works is that once that person has a movie, or the idea of the movie, the conversation starts. You get the script, or you get the cuts, or you get the dailies. So there's a lot of talk, preparation, getting your studio ready to go. You gotta accomplish that setup that will result in that sound that you're looking for. So writing the music, basically, it does become that last thing because that's totally in your control. Make sure you have your musicians lined up, make the budgets for everything. It's like you're the head of the music department, kind of. When I get the dailies, I work with the director, for example, and he likes to edit as he's shooting. So he shoots during the day, and he has an editor that edits during the night. And the next day, they know what they have or they know what they're missing. And they do send that stuff to me so that I can start right away and do my thing. And of course, as soon as I have an idea against picture and so on, I send it so that they can get inspired. And then, oh, okay, we can put more action here, we can support it this way, or actually it does help because at times when they think we got to do one more take because the energy is not there and so on, they hear it with music and they're like, you know what, it's actually good, so let's move on. I've also had cases when you don't see anything until the movie's done completely. And in that case, it's like, okay, you have 2 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever the deadline is to finish it. Or the ideal case is when the director tells you, I'm thinking to do this film, here's the script, and let's discuss it. And the last one that I had released about 2 weeks ago in the theaters, that was the case. I started writing based on the script and wrote some themes and then went on the set, which was amazing to see how they were doing it. Showed the themes to the director and he's like, don't change the notes. This type of a person is an ideal collaborator because he's very artistic, he's a musician himself. He envisions music as he's shooting his movie. The Comeback trailer just came out, was that case. I started writing on the script. I've had other cases when I had to write and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite the theme, like approvals, changes, tweaks, approvals again. Then you wake up the next morning, it's not working, let's do another one. You got to do your job as a film composer to support the movie because obviously they're not musicians and they are trained as filmmakers to talk about cuts, rhythm, colors, lenses, shots. How, I shot this on a wide lens, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that aerial. So it's my job to come in and try to understand what they're saying, what they're actually looking for. At times it's very easy to get it. At times it takes a bit of effort to write something, and when you hear, no, this is not it. And those are the moments that I actually value more because it's telling me this is not the direction I should go. So it's a process of elimination in those kind of cases. I've had comments like very strange ones, and you're trying to understand what. And at the end of the day, it was just a note on the piano. It's their vision that you're trying to support and enhance. It's on the composer to find that translation. You never get the movie, well, locked picture, yes, you get it, but color correction or final sound design and final mix and post and all that, you never get it. At least me, most of the time it's not fully finished, looking just for the music. So in that case, yeah, I have to go back and tweak things and so on. And at times it's very inspiring because you see some colors and then they go into color correction, they change things around. And then you're like, oh, I can bring this element up, or I can add one more thing. When it comes to the modular, you get the patch, you get the sound, that's it. You want another one, you gotta start from scratch. Before I really start to write the music, you create the sounds and you just capture them, you put them in contact so you have access to them. Once I'm done with the score, once I've had the approvals, then I would like to do one more pass for myself, just to have a bit of fun. When it comes to the outboard gear, I love plugins and so on, but the outboard gear, it adds a bit of dimension, a bit of depth, the tubes and transformers and so on. One thing that was very important for me when it came to power or anything that I would add in my room and not in the machine room was that it has to be something that is silent. It doesn't generate noise or heat. And I'm very happy to have noticed that the Equi Tech is completely silent. So the way I've set up my machine room with the Equi Tech, which is the 2RQ model, it has two rows. It has the digital outlets and the analog outlets. On the digital ones, I have my main computer, two converters, also the monitor controller, which has an ADDA on it. And then on the analog ones, I have my mixer, my headphone distributor. I have my second computer, which is a PC that runs plugins, which runs sounds. I also have the master clock that controls everything. I had never used balanced power of that level. I've had like an impressive reaction toward a gear with a couple of mics, but I never thought that power would actually make me say, what the heck happened right here now? And for a musician like me, when I'm trying to write, 3 notes, 2 chords on a scene, to have that feeling, to get that reaction from your instrument or from your sound, that you connect, like you feel it like it's part of you, you're hitting that note, and it has a different representation of what you're trying to accomplish with what you see on screen. And then this thing changes the whole window of what the sound sounds like, what that piano sounds, how it hits it and how it vibrates, and you feel the vibration, which is very strange. It's digital, there's no vibration, but you feel it, you feel that depth, you feel it like it's part of you. It inspires you to play more. It also sounds mastered, way more polished. Just these things are making such a huge difference in sound. When you have a bit of free time between projects and so on, you start looking around, you're like, okay, what can I change? What should I change now? I should get some new speakers and so on. Once the Equi Tech came in, I said, no, my SM9s are staying. There's no need to change speakers anymore. That's it. Not that the SM9s don't sound amazing on their own and so on. They're very nice, or all this other stuff. But this, it just brings it up to a different level. It makes it sound like they're supposed to be sounding. And then you say, I wish I knew, because when I built the studio here, I wish I knew. I would have probably put the whole panel, an Equi Tech panel, just to have the utmost, cleanest power, balance of the machines and all the equipment to really perform at their best. I'm in the studio for 16 hours a day, 3 weeks, no day off, no nothing, to meet a deadline. My payoff, other than people that have hired me to make the music, to be happy, my payoff here is to sound good for myself. It's my payoff for the day that, you're happy with the sound and the depth and all these things, how the machines are working and when everything is where it should be, because you want them to perform a certain way. And then the power shows up and you're like, oh my goodness, I had half the light on, not all the lights were on, half the bulbs were missing.